You know how I mentioned I'm moving to Tennessee soon? There's just something about Tennessee. Never really figured out what it was, why I wanted to go there, just aside from it being a beautiful state and everything. A lot of country land out there, lots of land, cheap, whatever. I told you I'm going. Literally, we're down to 3 weeks now, and I will be moving. And I found something very, very interesting today. The Firearms Freedom Act. A state-by-state comparison of which states have either passed this law, introduced it but not passed it yet, or is intending. And then the final one is nothing at all yet. And I'm going to show you this map real quick. Get my big head out of the way. And you can see anywhere that's green, this law has already passed, which is a good thing, by the way. And what do you see over off on the right side? The only green state way out in the middle of nowhere on the right side, which ain't got no business being green amongst those other colors. Old Tennessee. Old Tennessee. Now, what is this? What is this map? What is this whole Firearms Freedom Act? What is this, right? I haven't even heard of this, and this allegedly got passed, at least in the state of Tennessee, in 2009. The good news is that it has been introduced. In all those blue states, it has been introduced. So let me move out of the way again. And yeah, I'm in Florida currently. It's nice to see that the next best step is that it's been introduced. But if you look at this page, which I'll put the link up, it tells you what it basically is about. Now, I'm going to scroll down, because if you scroll down on that particular page where I got that from, there's Tennessee and there's two of these bills. And there's a Senate Bill 1610, an act to amend Tennessee Code Annotated Title 4, whatever. It's amended by adding sections 2 through 7 of this act as a new chapter thereto. So sections 2 through 7, and it says here's section 2. This chapter shall be known and may be cited as the Tennessee Firearms Freedom Act. And by the way, from what I understand, this is pretty much very similar or the same legislation that's going through other states. Thank God Tennessee has already passed it. This is fantastic. Matter of fact, because there is another thing I want to read you. Hang on. Well, first, let me go ahead and read this. Let me just do one thing at a time here. The General Assembly declares that the authority for this act in the following. 1. The 10th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution guarantees to the states and their people all powers not granted to the federal government elsewhere in the Constitution, and reserves to the state and people of Tennessee certain powers as they were understood at the time that Tennessee was admitted to statehood. This guarantee of those powers is a matter of contract between the state and people of Tennessee and the United States as of the time that the compact with the United States was agreed upon and adopted by Tennessee and the United States. Number 2, the 9th Amendment to the United States Constitution guarantees the people's rights not granted in the Constitution and reserves to the people of Tennessee certain rights as they were understood at the time that Tennessee was admitted to statehood. The guarantee of those rights is a matter of contract between the state and people of Tennessee and the U.S. or United States as of the time that the compact with the United States was agreed upon and adopted by Tennessee and the United States. Number 3, the regulation of intrastate commerce is vested in the states under the 9th and 10th Amendments to the United States Constitution, particularly if not expressly preempted by federal law. Congress has not expressly preempted state regulation of intrastate commerce pertaining to the manufacture on an intrastate basis of firearms, firearms accessories, and ammunition. Number 4, the Second Amendment to the U.S. Constitution reserves to the people the right to keep and bear arms, as that right was understood at the time that Tennessee was admitted to statehood, and the guarantee of the right is a matter of contract between the state and the people of Tennessee and the United States, as of the time that the compact with the U.S. was agreed upon and adopted by Tennessee and the United States. And, number 5, the Tennessee Constitution clearly secures to Tennessee citizens and prohibits government interference with the right of an individual Tennessee citizen individual Tennessee citizens to keep and bear arms. Let me read that again. The Tennessee Constitution clearly secures to the Tennessee citizens and prohibits government, that would be federal or any government technically, interference with the right of individual Tennessee citizens to keep and bear arms. Section 4. As used in this chapter, unless the context otherwise requires 1. Firearms accessories. It goes to define accessories, parts, manufactured means, creating a firearm, blah, 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 definitions, a personal firearm or accessory, blah, blah, blah. Section 5 shall not apply to a firearm that cannot be carried and used by one person, whatever. So anyways, this thing, there's definitions or whatever, but there's a Wikipedia thing here. Let me find that, because it says something along the lines of like, let me just find this. This is great. Let me just find this, okay? This was passed on 7/9/2009. So on 7/19, 10 days later, 2009, ATF declares Tennessee Firearms Freedom Act null and void. That would be kind of like you and me getting a traffic stop, getting a ticket, and you look over at the officer and say, I find your authority over me and the laws you're citing to me now that I violated null and void. They don't apply to me, just because I said so. How well do you think that's going to go? Do you think he's going to decide not to write the ticket? You think they're going to not send you a ticket bill in the mail to tell you to better pay that ticket, or else you're going to get your license suspended and possibly a warrant? No, it's not going to go your way. You're going to feel the wrath of the hammer. So ATF declares Tennessee Firearms Freedom Act null and void. Here we go again. Hang on. I click on a link and it's like a mainstream link, and then it's gone. Like they don't want anyone reading it anymore. So ATF. I'm just going to copy and paste this and just search Google for it, because I know I'll be able to find it. Some website somewhere. Ron Paul forums, ATF, TN gun owners, Constitutional Watch. There's a forum, tngunowners.com, that someone, I guess, was commenting on it. But, then another one, Washington drops hammer from WND. Washington drops hammer on state gun plan. This is, again, about 11 or 12 days later. Federal gun regulators have written to gun dealers around Tennessee, dropping the hammer on a new state law that exempts weapons made, sold, and used inside the state from interstate regulations. The letter, dated just days ago, was distributed to holders of federal firearms licenses. In it, Carson W. Carroll, the Assistant Director of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, told dealers the Tennessee Firearms Freedom Act, adopted this year, quote, purports to exempt personal firearms, firearm accessories, and ammunition manufactured in the state and which remain in the state from most federal firearm laws and regulations. The exemption is not right, the federal agency letter contends. As you may know, federal law requires a license to engage in the business of manufacturing firearms or ammo, blah, blah, blah. So they're finding the whole thing null and void. I don't know what came of it. Did Tennessee write back and say, we found what you just said null and void? I mean, I don't know. But it is a good sign for me to see that states already were in the process of taking action to secure the right of citizens to have their, right to bear arms, have and bear arms. So all I'm saying, I guess, is I'm pretty happy that I'm moving to Tennessee right now. Take care.